So in this video, we're talking about DevOps. For the longest time, I had no idea what DevOps was, which is why when I went up to CBT Nugget headquarters in Oregon, I sat down with Shawn Powers, and that's exactly what I asked him. What is this DevOps thing? I mean, I keep hearing about it. I know it pays a lot, but what is it? How do I become a DevOps engineer? So I got a chance to actually sit down with Shawn Powers and we talked about it. So in this interview, we talked about what it is. And then I know a question on your minds is, how do I become a DevOps engineer? We answer that question too. All right, got your coffee ready? Let's learn about some DevOps. Of course, you said you didn't work out, you were lying. Here. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Network Chuck. I've got the one and only Shawn Powers here. He's right here. If you don't know who Shawn Powers is, he is a CBT Nuggets trainer, and of course that just comes with its own awesomeness, but he teaches all things Linux. He's DevOps. I mean, he does, what, everything pretty much?
Everything but Microsoft. I'm a little afraid of the Windows.
We wanted to kind of come in and talk about DevOps. As a DevOps guy, what is your advice for people who don't even know what DevOps is or want to jump into DevOps and they're just like a network admin or they're a system admin? What would be like your two-liner approach to explaining what is DevOps?
Sure. I think it really depends on what your background is. So if you're coming from, like my background is system administration. I was a sysadmin for like 20 years. Which makes me old. I'm old. But I was coming into DevOps and I had that history. I didn't have the programming background. So for me, coming in and using a tool like Ansible or something that just feels more geared towards a system administrator who's trying to get into that world, it worked better. If you're a developer and you're like, I don't want to keep waiting for the operations team to do the things I need them to do, then tools like Puppet or Chef, they're really more programmatically backdropped or based on Based on programmatic skills, have a more developer-centric design. That was pretty nice. Anyway, so maybe go one of those things. So again, depends on where you're coming from. But either way, the initial learning curve for all the DevOps tools can be really frustrating. And I think we're in a world now where once somebody understands DevOps, they're like, oh yes, I know DevOps, hire me. And it's really frustrating. It can be really intimidating to learn that world. But once you do, you'll find it's not magic. It's just the same old tools that, like a system administrator, I've written bash scripts forever. And this is just like a better bash script, right? DevOps tools just make everybody's job easier and more automated, so you can actually do all of those things that are on your to-do list. Just let automation take care of the things that keep you from doing those things. You can actually get some projects accomplished that you've been hoping to find the time for.
It seems magical right now if you don't know. Like, I always thought DevOps was magical. I mean, we seriously, like Harry Potter, wands, everything. My last company, they had a whole section of DevOps engineers, and I'm like, oh, you're DevOps? I have no idea what you guys do, but I know you're good, so you're awesome. But it's good to have that cleared up as to what DevOps actually is. So I know with networking, with like networking, and you guys will know some of this, it's SDN, software-defined networking, where DevOps, it'll kind of play into that, but it's about automating systems. So a lot of you guys are going through your Microsoft stuff, MCSA, MCSE. This will make your jobs easier. And I've told you, you need to learn Linux. If you're a network engineer, if you're a Microsoft guy, isn't the majority of servers in the world run off Linux now?
I would think, especially in the cloud. The cloud is really largely Linux. And yeah, if you want to learn something in IT, you don't want to have to go through the muck and mire of installing a server, installing Apache, getting your web services running. If you can use a DevOps tool to automate that entire process with like 3 lines of code, and then you can start doing what you wanted to do in the first place, which is like figure out that web app that you've been trying to develop. Don't worry about all of the stuff that allows you to do that. Let that be automated away so your creativity and your time can be spent on the project you really want to accomplish.
And that's awesome because like I know as an admin you never have enough time. I mean it's
Right.
one project after another,
Just
and
putting
then
out fires.
Yeah,
That's all we do.
Yeah. Firefighters. I've had that role a lot. So for someone who wants to become a DevOps engineer, because you can go on LinkedIn or Dice or wherever and look up DevOps right now, the pay isn't bad.
No.
And because no one really knows what it is, they pay a lot. that's how I found with IT.
Magic is expensive.
As far as DevOps goes, how can you start into DevOps? So like, what would you recommend as a precursor to actually learn the systems before getting into DevOps specific courses?
Sure. So when I'm teaching a DevOps course at CBT Nuggets, I make it clear that you shouldn't use DevOps to do something that you couldn't do on your own. So while I said DevOps is a great way to automate away the need to install Apache and set up all those things, really, if you don't understand what's happening behind the scenes, you're probably going to DevOps your way into an uncomfortable spot. So really, DevOps is just a tool to help you accomplish what you already know how to do manually, but you don't need to take time. Kind of like when we learn math in third grade, right? We learn how to add numbers together. And then when you're in high school, you use a calculator to add those numbers. DevOps is like the calculator. You still need to know what's happening underneath, but you don't have to take the time to do it.
That's a fantastic example. And that's, I've mentioned a lot of stuff on here like Python for network engineers, how to automate your network. You're gonna have a hard time if you don't know the syntax of the CLI and every command. I guess it's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, same thing.
So once you learn whatever it is, like Linux administration, system administration, where do you go next?
Actually, just start small. So a task that you're comfortable doing and you're tired of doing, that's really the best. If there's a task at your job or even in your learning that you're tired of doing over and over, like, you know what? I bet there's a better way to accomplish this. There is. So use DevOps to solve a problem that you have. Don't try to invent some environment that Chef or Puppet or Ansible will do for you. Use it to solve a problem. I mean, really, that's the way you're going to learn it, and you're going to really see the benefits, is if you have a problem that you need to solve and DevOps can do it, do it.
And that's like the best way to learn anything, right? I mean, I always hear like, if you want to learn programming, don't just study it, do a project.
Yeah.
Do something you're trying to accomplish. So that's excellent. So if I were right now, I'm a system admin, I'm a Linux admin, where should I start with training?
Well, the beard was a good start.
Oh, well, done.
No, so if you're a Linux person and you want to learn more about the underlying technology, I'm a big fan of the LPIC-1 course, LPIC, and so the LPI, LPIC-1, and CompTIA Linux Plus, it's the same exact course, same test. You can actually get dual certs with one test taking session. It's really cool.
So is LPIC like a different cert entity?
Yes, it is. So LPI is the Linux Professional Institute, and they come up with LPIC-1, which is 2 tests to get LPIC-1 certified. And the folks at CompTIA said, hey, that is a great test. We should just use that test. And so you can take each test just one time and get both Linux Plus certified and LPIC-1 certified.
2 certs for 1 study session. That's pretty good. So Linux is awesome. I love Linux. I wish I had more time to study it, so I'm going to go through your course.
Good.
I'm going to do it. But you can go for the LPIC and CompTIA Linux Plus, same exam, but study the same material. That's just a 2-for-1 situation. That's awesome. So
it is, yeah. If that's overwhelming and you don't want to jump right into like hardcore system administration of Linux stuff, there's also the...
Was that a Home Improvement reference?
It was.
Yes! I just started watching that on Hulu. Again.
I watched them when they were new, so I'm a little older. But yeah, so we also have a course, the LPI folks realize that LPIC-1, it's kind of a really steep learning curve. Like you go in and you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I can't do this. If you do the Linux Essentials course, it's actually a certification. You can actually get certified with Linux Essentials, but it's for folks who are interested in Linux, are kind of nerdy, but really don't know anything about Linux.
And is that the same Linux Foundation?
The Linux Professional Institute, and it's Linux Essentials.
So we have Linux Essentials, kind of like the CCENT or beginner cert, and then you have the LPIC.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right.
So if you're a Linux guy already, or a Linux girl, if you're a Linux guy or a Linux gal already, the Linux Essentials course is probably not for you. Just go right into LPIC-1, but if that's intimidating, the Linux Essentials course is awesome.
Do you have a course on CBT for Linux?
I have both Linux Essentials and LPIC-1.
Here we go. So if you're looking for great training, of course I have to plug CBT Nuggets because it's awesome. Come on.
That's why we're here.
Exactly. But he has the Linux Essentials, he has the LPIC and the CompTIA, which is the same thing, on CBT Nuggets, and I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to learn as much as I can about Linux. So check it out. I'll put a link below to check that out. So start there. So after we've got Linux, where do we go from there?
After Linux, so if you are comfortable with Linux, I think you're already to the point that you can start using DevOps tools. Because really, that's the goal, right? I know how to use Linux. I don't want to have to do it all. So you can figure out the things that DevOps, that's worth the effort. So it's going to take some effort to programmatically do the things that you could do manually. But once you understand Linux, you're going to know what those things are. And I use the example of setting up a web server because it's monotonous, but it's not terribly difficult to do.
Right.
So yeah, just once you learn Linux, what is it that you don't want to have to manually do all the time? And fix that problem. If you're starting from the Linux side, the system admin side, check out Ansible. That's my favorite automation platform. DevOps automation platform is Ansible. It also has a really cool name.
Also, he does an Ansible course on CBT Nuggets. Imagine that. So check that out as well. I'll put a link below for that. So how hard is Ansible to get your hands around? How fast could I start automating one thing?
Really easily. And the nice thing about Ansible is it's more like configuration files than code. So it's not like you have to write all of these code statements to get it to work. It really feels to me like, all right, I want to accomplish this task, so I'm going to set up my configuration file to do it. And so Ansible, I'm going to get excited now, right?
Oh,
so Ansible's cool because there's no client to install, right? It uses SSH. So you SSH automatically to the remote server. Nothing has to be installed, so it can be completely headless, small, embedded systems even. I mean, it's really cool. And then your local workstation does all the work remotely on that computer. So truly, it's awesome. You should learn it.
I mean, I'm sold. I know you guys.
I'm gonna get the whiteboard out, because what you do.
He's about to make a nugget right now. It's compulsive. Anyways, again, this was Shawn Powers. If you already know Linux, then you probably already know Shawn Powers. If you don't know what the Linux journal is,
Not the Linux journal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll get in trouble.
Oh, forget the Linux journal. So, what is the Linux journal? What is space silence Linux journal?
Linux Journal is a magazine. Linux Journal, it's a magazine. It's online right now. I've been writing for, my gosh, like 10 years. I have a column there, Open Source Classroom, and it's just the kind of thing, if you are interested in Linux, whether you're hardcore or beginner, there's something for everybody. Again, the same reason I work for CBT Nuggets is the reason I work for Linux Journal. I love it. I love the people there, and we're doing good stuff.
Awesome. So I'll put a link below for that. So if you want to check out Shawn on Linux Journal, he's active on Twitter. His Twitter's amazing. He's got an excellent Photoshop picture of him as, what are you, Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, CBT Nuggets did that for me.
Yes, I love that. Every time I see it, I just laugh.
I'm gonna mess up Chuck. My link to Twitter is right here.
Hey, I can move stuff around everywhere, so yeah. And yeah, I'll put all the links below. You can find Shawn, and again, check out CBT Nuggets, his course. It's gold standard. So if you want to learn Linux, become a Linux admin. I mean, these guys, they make money, they make bank. If you're a network admin, you want to learn some Linux too. I mean, it's all kind of melding and meshing together, where you have to kind of be a jack of all trades. Well, maybe not all trades, but just some trades. You want to know your stuff. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us here. Thanks, Shawn, for being on this with me. This is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys later. Yeah. All right. Take cut. That was it.